good to see you.
Hey, we haven't seen each other for a long time.
Right.
Over 20 years.
Yes. Oh, come on in.
Yeah.
Do you know when the first and the second groups of Montagnards came to the United States? And why did they move to North Carolina? Also, why the majority of the Rhade resettled in Greensboro? Why the Koho, Mnong, and Bahnar moved to Charlotte? And why did the Jarai people move to Raleigh? If you want to know the answers to these questions, I encourage you to watch the entire video. Dr. Raleigh Bailey, who was the Director for the Refugee Program at the Lutheran Family Services of North Carolina, talks about how he and other Americans, as well as Vietnam veterans, helped the Montagnards who resettled in the United States. Just tell me a little bit about your background, where you grew up, your education, really anything.
Okay. I grew up in South Florida, what was really the edge of the Everglades then. Now it's part of Miami, but then it was like we didn't have neighbors. It was all nature, and I really liked it a lot. Mm-hmm. And I went to undergrad school in Central Florida. Then I thought at that point I wanted to maybe be a Methodist minister. I went to Boston University School of Theology, and I was really into the social action, not as much into the theology. And I drifted away from the Methodists and became a Quaker. Taught at a Quaker school up there for a while. Moved to Greensboro in 1973. Mm-hmm. Taught a couple of years at Guilford College. Then I transitioned to a position at A&T that was training Head Start teachers.
I see.
I did that for 7 years. I really liked it. I traveled all around the state. It's kind of organizing low-income parents and helping them understand their rights. So it was very powerful.
Yeah.
And my wife, Judy, who is a very passionate person, wants to save the world. Mm-hmm. She kept bringing in foster kids in our house. And then at some point, she contacted Lutheran Family Services. This was 81 or 82. They were just getting some publicity. Mm-hmm. And we became foster parents for Cambodian unaccompanied minor teenage girls. And this was at a time, I don't know what you know about the background of refugee resettlement. And, the U.S. signed off after World War II.
I know something, but not too much. So yeah, you can.
And we were part of the UN agreements and did a little bit. Did not do a lot until after the Vietnam War, when I think the rest of the world said, these are your people. You need to step up and take your share, because we were taking maybe an occasional Soviet dissident or something. So then they started in the mid-70s, bringing people, first Vietnamese and then Hmong, a few Lao, and no Montagnards at that point.
Okay.
And in 1980, they realized the system wasn't working. Well, they didn't really have a system. Most of the Vietnamese, they had the idea, this is kind of funny to me, wouldn't it be nice if each community had one Vietnamese family? Well, that may be fun for the host community, but not for the one family that nobody speaks their language or has their kind of food. So all the Vietnamese were moving to California. So then with the Hmong, when they were coming in, they said, well, California needs more farm workers. These are farmers, and they put a lot in California. The Hmong people like to farm, but they don't like to take orders. So they weren't willing to be farm workers very much, and so that wasn't working either. And then in the early 80s, the Cambodians were coming. The general strategy is to place a family where there's already a host community of your ethnic identity. There are really no Cambodians in the U.S. to speak of. Okay. So they decided to create, they called it FASP, Favorable Alternative Site Placements. And they created 4 in the United States. One in Greensboro, North Carolina, because they knew there were factory jobs. Mm-hmm. One in Charlotte. Plus there was a resettlement agency, Lutheran Family Services here and Catholic Social Services was in Charlotte. They did 2 out west. Well, most of the people still left and went to California. The Greensboro Cambodian community stayed. So they said, aha. So the reason I think is because they were mostly widowed women with young children, rice farmers, and they were really struggling, and they were in crisis, and the psychological establishment didn't know what to do. And they asked us, and we asked our Cambodian staff, they said, well, they need a monk.
Oh, okay.
So we got a grant to get a Cambodian monk for culturally appropriate mental health. And the Greensboro Buddhist Center is still there, very strong, and it held them anyway. So that was kind of our experience. And so from 82 to 84, we were still foster parents.
Okay.
And I was still working with A&T. But it was full-time foster parents because there was shortage of interpreters, and we got a new person coming in, and we had to explain to them somehow, yeah, we want you to poop in a cup. We're going to put it in the refrigerator and save it, and somebody's going to come get it, because they're testing for TB.
Oh, I see.
That's pretty hard to explain
Wow.
across languages, and an interpreter helps some.
Yeah.
But we had a lot of weird things like that.
Yeah.
But it went well, and then in 84, the then Director of Lutheran Family Services stepped down. So I applied, and
You remember who that was?
sure.
Yeah.
Jenny Soberg, Rhine, and she's still very devoted. I assume she's 80,
Okay.
and very active Lutheran and crusader for justice for newcomers.
Okay.
And
And
she
so
lives here in town.
you took over her position.
yeah, I took over
What
her-
year was that?
That was 84.
84. And what's the name of your position? I forgot.
I was Director of Refugee Programs for Lutheran Family Services of the Carolinas.
Oh, wow.
We were North and South Carolina, but in reality, they all came to North Carolina, almost all.
Okay.
And so that was what I was doing. And it went, I enjoyed it. It was going pretty well. And then, early in 1986, my national cohort person on the national LIRS person said, there's a special group. Would you all be interested in treating a special group that's going to have some challenges? I said, oh, sure, that'd be nice. I didn't say it that glibly. We checked with employers and with church sponsors. They said, oh, sure. And he said, have you ever heard of the Montagnards? And in fact, I had. When I was in Boston, I heard a Methodist missionary who was in town speak, and he was based in the Philippines, but he had been in the Highlands visiting medical facilities, and he talked about the Montagnards and
Oh, okay.
how brave the Montagnards were, even without much in the way of health care. They would come in and get a little boost and go back out to fight some more. So that was kind of I had that much of a story.
Oh.
So then my cohort, Jack Griswold, said, well, this is a group that there's a lot of politics around it. It's a group of around 220 who have thought they were still part of the U.S. Army. And they've been fighting since 1975. This is now 11 years later. And that they had lost contact with any contacts they had. And so they made it across Cambodia, which was very difficult because they're having to deal with the Khmer Rouge as they went from Vietnam. Cambodia got to the Thai border and wanted to go to the U.S. Embassy. Well, the Thais denied them, and then they tried again, and then a guy from a Swiss NGO who I met, and I don't remember his name now, said, he heard that, and he said he could relay a message. And so the message was, we're out of ammunition, we don't know what to do.
Oh, okay. Wow.
What I was told is at first the embassy tried to kind of ignore that. But then some Vietnam vets heard about it, and Don Scott, who was a player in all of this and kind of an elusive role, but he heard about it. They put pressure on the U.S., and so the U.S. began to consider, okay, we could bring these people if we find the right place. Don wanted them to go to Massachusetts,
Oh,
where he was from. He said, that's a liberal state. That's where they will fit the best. Lutheran immigration said, we don't think they will. We think they would fit better in North Carolina. Don didn't work for the government, but he has some connection with the government. So they said, if you can convince
I've
Don.
heard his name
Yeah.
multiple times from Montagnards.
Sure.
Yeah.
And he, I always said he was part of CIA, but he denied it. But he came down and we wined and dined him and he had a good time. He said, okay, it's all right. They can come to North Carolina. And so then from there, there's several steps. This is still spring of '86. Well, the Feds, State Department decided to send a group of 5 leaders.
Oh, there were 5 Montagnards, right?
Yeah, to come and see what it was like,
Okay.
so they could go back and report. They did that. We did a tour.
So were you with the 5 Montagnards?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
we helped arrange the tour for them, and I don't want to try and remember their names.
Which state did they travel to?
Oh, just North Carolina.
North Carolina.
It's after the Feds had already said, well, this sounds like the right place. Let's tell them about it so we can get them oriented. And so we did that. And then we said, okay, why don't a group of you go there? By this time, they'd been moved to the Philippines,
I see.
and give them an orientation too. So we had a group, and it was kind of a funny group. A Lutheran pastor, a couple of Lutheran staff members, somebody from the Chamber of Commerce. Don Scott had connections with the Chamber of
Oh,
Commerce.
wow.
So he said, send somebody with the Chamber of Commerce. And so they did. And so we all did a presentation, and the Chamber of Commerce person is explaining that if you live on the south side of town, your garbage will be picked up on Mondays and Thursdays. If you're on the north side of the town, it's going to be Tuesdays and Fridays.
Uh-huh.
With minimal interpretation going on.
Okay.
And people who were telling me said they aren't listening to her. They're looking at what kind of plants are growing so they can figure out what they can eat. But anyway, we got through that. And so then it was scheduled that they would come, and I think it's a week before Thanksgiving.
Oh, wow.
And it was about 220, about 180 guys, about 20 women, and about 20 kids.
Okay.
Well, let me back up. When the 5 leaders were here, we met because we had decided we want to put about half of the people in Greensboro. That's where we have the strongest agency structure, and a quarter in Raleigh, where we have a satellite office, and a quarter in Charlotte, where the Catholics had a smaller office.
I see.
So we asked them to divide them up, who goes where.
Okay.
So some of that was based on what they knew about relationships or rivalries. But generally speaking, the Rhade were the larger group. And they said, we'll send the Rhade here to Greensboro, the Jarai to Raleigh, and the Bahnar and the Koho to Charlotte. A lot of them are Catholic, so they would be a better fit. So that was kind of the basic division that was set up.
Did it have to do with missionaries that lived in Vietnam and spoke Montagnard languages were being available to interpret for, let's say, the Rhade in Greensboro and the Jarai in Raleigh and so on?
Well, we knew about Charlie Long,
Okay.
the CMA, but I don't think the Feds did. I mean, well, we made the decision to go to Raleigh because we had an office there.
Okay.
But then we figured, well, Charlie Long speaks Jarai, this is perfect.
Okay.
And there was a woman who was a missionary here
Okay.
who spoke possibly Rhade.
Yeah.
But I'm not
You
even
know
sure.
her name?
I have known it.
Okay.
She is deceased. She was CMA missionary. Let's see if it,
She worked with the Rhade, right?
in
Yeah, in Vietnam.
probably so. She was very evangelical, very sweet. We had some socials here, and she chastised us on some of the things that she thought were not exactly Christian, some of our trinkets and things. But she had a big sign, asked me the question. So somebody said, what's the question? She said, are you saved? And
Yeah.
so anyway, that's how people got divided
Okay.
up.
And back in the Philippines or Thailand, I'm
Yeah.
not sure, you were actually there for some time, right? To live with the Montagnard refugees, to kind of help them in
I vi-
Southeast Asia.
I visited the Philippine camp.
Okay.
I had visited camps in Thailand, but not when they were there.
Okay.
And I went back later on, and I worked with refugee camps in Thailand and then in Cambodia. But that's so
Okay.
I wasn't with them in Thailand. I was with them for an orientation for about a week, and it was high profile too, because this guy Don Scott is really in the media, and he arranged with 2 of the local TV stations to send a crew. So here's 4 or 5 of us from the agency plus 2 TV crews trekking around, and Don felt like he was in charge, so he didn't like to stay in low-income places, so he would
yeah.
have us in a resort on the other side of Bataan. It would take us an hour to get to the camp, but it was all right.
So the 5 Montagnard leaders that
Yeah.
came here, they went back to the Philippines,
went
right?
back, yeah.
And then came back to the U.S.
time,
with
yeah.
200. Tell me a little bit about that. The 200 Montagnards that came in 1986.
Yeah, that was the dramatic time. And
Okay.
again, with a lot of TV stuff. They came in first into California, and Don or Special Forces or somebody had arranged something at the airport where they changed planes. I don't know if it was LA or San Francisco. So they had some kind of military ceremony welcoming there. And I flew there because they wanted me to be there to help welcome them. Then I flew back with them on a charter plane from there, coming into Greensboro,
Oh, okay.
where there was national coverage. And I don't know if we've saved that or not.
Okay.
And they had reserved a section of the Greensboro airport
Wow.
and had TV crews and Congress people and Billy G., the head of the Office of Refugee Resettlement, and somebody from the State Department. Here are these guys that have been traveling for 30 hours, completely exhausted. Where are we? And they're having to sit on these folding chairs for an hour to hear speeches. And I feel kind of bad. Plus, all the church sponsors were there because the plan was
okay.
that they would take them to wherever the homes were that were already set up. So there were, in all, at least on record, there were 54 churches,
Oh, wow.
including Charlotte, Raleigh, and Greensboro.
I see. And they arrived on November 23rd, which was Thanksgiving evening. Was that right?
It was the Thanksgiving week, but it wasn't Wednesday. I think it was maybe a Monday or something like that.
Oh, I see.
I may be mistaken, but something like that.
Okay. I'm just
And so
curious.
then the groups, and it was very sweet. People had signs, the so-and-so Lutheran Church welcomes you. Our Savior Catholic Church welcomes you. The signs, and so I think that it was impressive. I think they were impressed, and they got TV coverage, which was Don Scott's goal. And so then they went to their places, and then we, as staff, we quickly had to find. We hired Doc Rmah, or Rmah Doc. I don't know if you know him or not.
I do, yeah.
And he could straddle the Rhade Jarai line because he grew up Rhade and married a Jarai woman. So he had status in both groups. And we hired him here
Okay.
as our initial interpreter. And I liked him a lot. We worked really hard. He had to work all the time.
Yeah.
And then the feds said, well, there's a couple of other people that could help with the orientation. And they said there were 2 in California. We could arrange for them to come visit. Right now, I don't remember the name of one of them.
Were they Montagnards that spoke English? And
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And there's a letter that they told me about, and I gave my copy to Liana. You should look at it. It has their names in it.
Oh, wow.
This was the minutes from a meeting with the State Department in Saigon just before they evacuated the day before. They're telling the South Vietnamese and the Montagnard leaders that we're pulling out. And it's a very intense, the minutes go down about half a page and they stop abruptly. And what Pierre told me and what the other person who had a bakery in Sacramento both said the same thing separately, that when the Montagnard military said, well, what are we supposed to do? You know, and that's when the ambassador said, well, let's stop taking and then he said, keep on fighting because we're going to back you up.
Oh, okay.
So that's what they believed. And they all left.
Yeah.
And Pierre was put in Riyadh shortly after that. And the other guy, I'm not sure what happened to him, but Pierre eventually got out of Riyadh and
Yeah.
somehow escaped.
Yeah. And what were some of the challenges in helping the Montagnards that came, you know, in 1986?
Yeah, well, certainly a shortage of languages. Other challenges, because there are so many, because it's so high profile, because the U.S. military had a big role in it, and the State Department was trying to script it one way. Office of Refugee Resettlement was trying to assure adequate resettlement. Don's style is, you're not doing enough, Raleigh. Get in there and do some more. You're not doing a good job. I mean, that was his dynamic with me.
Okay.
And I'm saying, Don, I know you're with CIA. And because he didn't have any official role, except that apparently he improved it. When they were coming here, the State Department gave us a couple of rules. Settle them just in those 3 cities. Do not let any be resettled in Fayetteville.
Huh.
And be careful that they don't get involved with any political things with Special Forces retirees.
I see. Like from the Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Okay.
Because they're involved in some extra political activities related to arms to the Contras. And they will ask the Montagnards to help. Montagnards will think they're doing their duty, but if feds find out, they'll be deported.
I see.
So we were firm about that, which irritated some, particularly a group of enlisted men from Special Forces who were trying to get them to come. And there was a guy who had a land and an airport, his own airport in Asheboro. I said, why don't we just have them all live there? Well, we knew he would disappear to Central America every other week. And we thought, that's not a good idea.
Yeah.
So that group was antagonistic. The official Special Forces Association, which was mostly officers, were very cooperative and supportive. And
Okay.
so we had those kind of. At one time, when there were a lot of tension, there was a local vets organization here in town. They said, let's see if we can sort this out. And they had me and some people from the Asheboro crowd and some people from the official office over in Raleigh with the Special Forces to talk about it. And then at some point he said, well, this is an issue between the vets. You're not part of that. So I got excused because Special Forces Association, well, no, they're doing it just right. And the then they started off calling themselves GCMA.
Oh, yes, I remember
And
that.
then they transitioned their name to STMP,
Right.
Save the Montagnard People.
Yeah.
And then there were a couple splinter groups from that because everybody,
I remember GCMA, we used to have the Montagnard Memorial Day near Greensboro somewhere.
it was in Asheboro. Some of it, not all the times, but
Yeah.
often.
How about the group Montagnard group that came in
92.
92? Tell me a little bit about
Yeah.
that particular group
Okay.
and what was your involvement in helping them?
Well, in 1989, I decided to step down because
Okay.
I had to go to it felt like every single funeral and marriage within the Cambodian Montagnard communities because they went the director of the refugee. And I thought, this is too much. And my wife and I were caught up in refugee stuff still. So we went to Thailand in 89 and worked in a refugee camp in Thailand starting in the fall of 89. And then after a year or so, she went to Cambodia and worked there. And then I stayed in Thailand. And then she came back to Thailand. We're having trouble finding. Our 2 youngest kids were with us.
Okay.
The 4 older ones, the 2 Cambodians plus 2 other birth daughters, had finished high school, so they were here. But then when I was in Cambodia in 92, 93, working with a group called the Vietnam Veterans of America Foundation, running a prosthetics program.
Okay.
And they were targeting ex-military. They didn't care whose side you were on if you had lost a limb.
okay.
So I really liked what they were doing. And they were rough and tumble guys, but they were progressive rough and tumble guys. And so they hired me as administrator because they were not into administration.
Okay.
But as while I was there, that the UNTAC, that's the UN group that was in charge of the Cambodian government, said they found another group up in the Highlands in Ratanakiri, and they aren't speaking Khmer. Then somebody said, well, we think that they're Montagnards. So they brought Pierre back from Greensboro, take him by helicopter up to Ratanakiri to say,
Wow.
the war's over, we're sorry we forgot to tell you. But you can come to the United States as refugees. And he was, I forget the leader's name, but he was the interpreter. If you see stories, you see him there as the interpreter, and then the other guy that was the leader kind of stepped down when they were there, when they got here. So I wasn't here when they arrived. I was back still in Cambodia. But when I came back in 93, 94, I started working again with refugees, and so I was involved with them again.
Okay. So were there, I've heard they're mostly women and children with that group?
In the 92 group,
92. Were there about 400 of them?
there were about 400, and I don't know because I wasn't here.
Oh,
So I
okay.
just don't really know. That would be, and Pierre would probably know because he was working with MDA at that point, I think.
I see. Yeah.
I should say something about MDA.
Yeah, a little
Because
bit.
part of
That'd be
our
really.
strategy in resettling a new group is help them create a community organization, both so they have a structure that works in the U.S. and we help them with a lawyer, get a nonprofit status, and they can solicit funds from the U.S. and they have to agree that they're not terrorists and they're not all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And so had a lawyer come in and meet with them, they explain the rules. I watched from my office where they were in the conference room when they're doing the planning. They're trying to decide what to call their group. And I don't know who all the guys were. But some say, we want it to be called the Dega. Others say, well, no, they don't know who the Dega are. Besides, that's a Rhade word. We like to be called the Montagnards. And so they end up with Montagnard Dega Association. That was their
okay.
compromise. And I think Doc was their first chairperson, I believe.
Okay.
And so that's how the NDA got started.
Okay. Well, how did they get their funding sources, to support themselves
Yeah.
and the services that they provided?
If they did record keeping and could justify their budgets, and Lutheran Family Services staff helped them with that. So
Okay.
this is what they could get funding from the state. There's federal funds that come in through the state refugee coordinator that they will disperse to groups that are nonprofits to do follow-up services.
Yeah.
Because Lutheran was funded for the first few months. And then we had gotten an extra grant so we could do what we called matching grant. That if we could get them working within 3 months, we could leverage more funds to come in to catch their rent for if they weren't if they didn't go on welfare. That was the goal. And we had good experience in getting everybody to work. Of course, these factories were happy to have them. We had to coach them. We know you want to make a good impression and you want to work hard and impress the Americans, but if they say it's break time, take a break, because otherwise it pisses off the other American workers if you keep working during break time. So we did that.
Interesting.
I got involved in 94 or so with a lot of them had gone to work with Kmart.
Right.
Kmart had a big distribution center about 20 miles east of Greensboro, out near Burlington.
Yeah.
A lot of Montagnards had gone there, and a union was trying to organize them. And so they had called UNITE, Union of Needleworkers International Textile Employees. And they asked me if I would help get the Montagnards to join the union. When I couldn't speak any of the languages anyway, but I talked to Ehene, and Ehene talked to them a little bit. They said, no, we don't want to make problems with the Americans, so they didn't join the union. But the union was still fairly successful, and actually Kmart eventually went out of business anyway.
Yeah. So when did you come back to work for Lutheran Family Services again? Because I briefly
94.
worked 94.
94, then the director of refugee programs at Lutheran said, there's a new program that feds are offering, something called AmeriCorps. I don't quite know what it is. I don't have time to think about it, but if you read it, the proposal, and see if it's something you think would work with refugees. I said, yeah. He said, if you write a proposal and it's funded, you can run it. So that's what we did, and it got funded. We did it 3 years with Lutheran, and then it was really hard to manage administratively. Mm-hmm. So I used it, because I was also doing some contract work with social work department. So I bought my way into the social work department with this grant, because I said, UNCG will take it over. Lutheran can still get AmeriCorps members, but they don't have to administer the grant.
I see.
So in 97, it moved, same program, but just the administration was different. Mm-hmm. So I ran that.
Because I was an AmeriCorps member at Lutheran Family Services in Raleigh. I think I worked there from 2000 or 2001 to 2002, and you were at Lutheran Family Services as well at the time. I forgot what your position was back then.
Well, I wasn't at Lutheran in 2000 or 2002. I was there from 94 to 97.
Okay.
But I still had a strong connection because Lutheran was a service site, so I would go there a lot.
I see. That's why I met you at different conferences and so on. Okay.
I remember you with your rock and roll band.
That was a long time ago.
Everybody else doing very difficult, polite dances and.
Yeah, we did. I came in 1996, and at the time, most Montagnard worked with Kutkasar, the Montagnard Foundation.
Yeah.
Somehow Kutkasar and Rmah got split in 1998, and Rmah started the Montagnard Human Rights Organization.
That, yes.
So because of the location, I also knew Rmah, and I was really young. I knew nothing about politics. So I joined the Montagnard Human Rights Organization. And in fact, we started the first Montagnard band in Raleigh.
Good way to go.
Yeah, the community kind of pitched in some money, and we bought drums and guitars and bass and all of that. And then with Hip Kassar, who was pretty well-known Montagnard musician, songwriter, we started the Montagnard traditional group or Montagnard culture group.
And he was Jarai.
Yeah, he's Jarai. He's still around. And we perform at different picnics, meetings, weddings, and we even performed for Senator Jesse Helms at the U.S. Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. And John McCain was there too. That was the biggest performance.
That was a smart move, yeah.
And they said that was the first time the Montagnard music group performed inside of the Capitol Hill. And I'm sure. It was really fun time.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad I was part of the group.
I mean, you've worked with Montagnard people for so many years. Maybe you can talk about the progress that you've seen within the community and, what your favorite part about working with the community has been. So since the beginning to now.
Probably to be fair, by the early 2000s, I wasn't not as involved unless they came in as AmeriCorps members. That was really my only role. A little bit of things with MDA, because I kept up with MDA. If they had an event or we heard about a funding source, we would have a little contact. What I was really impressed with is I got a few Montagnards in social work classes. I got refugees from Cambodia and Vietnamese as well. They brought such a whole different perspective, where the Americans are thinking about diversity class. Oh, you mean black and white? Well, that's part of it. And there's all these other parts. And Liana was a standout. We got the whole class involved in Montagnard issues and activities, and a couple of people joined the board of MDA. So you're these American white college students, so that was cute.
Yeah.
And then when she really got involved with MDA, ECU, he'd been there a long time, and he was the most dedicated, faithful person you could ever hope for. I mean, his salary had dropped down, and he was funded like 10%, but he still worked all the time. Drove people to the doctor. He wasn't exactly a community organizer, builder, other than witnessing for doing the right thing.
Yeah.
But then when she came in on staff, and then the new wave of Montagnard youth came in, and it's a whole new group now. They're doing so much, so much energy. They're networking with some of the Cambodian young people that are doing the same thing. It's the next generation taking over. That's what makes me really feel good.
I think Liana is doing a great job. She and her staff.
Yes.
Yeah, because they work with young people, middle-aged people, but elderly people as well.
After I retired, I did a year of AmeriCorps with MDA.
Okay.
They didn't quite know what to do with me. I sat in the office and maybe drive somebody somewhere occasionally. Was not a good interpreter.
Yeah.
And some of the women wanted me to take them to their doctor's appointments.
Thank you, Dr. Raleigh Bailey, for helping our people and for sharing the story of the Montagnards. And thank you all for watching this video. If you like this video, please consider clicking like, subscribing to the channel, and also share this video with other people. As you may already know, there are so many videos on this channel that cover different topics related to the Montagnards. Be sure to watch them, explore them, and enjoy learning new things about our people. Bye-bye.